All right, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. So my name is Mark Anglin, and I'm one of the numerous experienced professors in the course. And what I'm going to do first off is I'm going to give you my email address. So you are all welcome to email me with any questions that may come to you after today's session. So I'll give you a minute. Again, hi, I'm Mark, and you should be able to see on the whiteboard my email address, of which you are very welcome to write down. I'll just wait a minute. Thank you. Yeah, the highlight was good. Okay. So the agenda today, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask one or two questions to make sure we have, I know the audience here, and what I'm getting at there is, do we have people who want to take just the postgraduate certifications in project management, or do we also have people who want to take the undergraduate project management program? So that's what I'm going to check in, just so I can, if we have both kind of target audiences here, I can be aware of that and answer, kind of go between content and help direct you for things that I think will be valuable. And of course, I'm here to answer questions anytime. So just before we kind of get formally started, I'll frame up the question like this. Are you looking towards doing the project management postgraduate work program? Yes or no? If you can, just in the chat. And Shiva, I'll come right back to you. Just yes or no in the chat. Are you looking for the postgraduate project management program? So Shiva, thank you. I just want to see who we've got here in the audience. Gabriel Adesola, Hashim. If that's a good sample size, probably all of you then. Okay, now Shiva, you had a question. I think your hand up. How can I help, Shiva?
No, I just put my hand up for your question. Sorry, I didn't.
Oh yeah, no worries. No worries. Yeah, practicing is a good thing. So everybody, you should be able to see on the screen the web page. I'm going to put this web page in the chat first of all, so you don't have to go searching for it. And then I'm going to go through some things here, and you can ask questions at any time. Let me just jump over to chat. And there we go. Everybody in the chat is the web page that I have open and you can see right now. And we have, so the 425 is online. And I'll come to this in a bit, but if you want to make a note, there's also the what we say 415, which is in person in the classroom. So I think that'll be helpful out of the gate, just to let people know as we drill down on the detail. There's kind of two buckets, right? One bucket is the in pink, the online B425. Okay. And B415 is in person in the classroom. So I'll stop there as I inch along. Does anyone have any questions so far? And you can ask me, please ask anything, not necessarily what I'm speaking to in the moment. Okay. And I'll go through some more things that may trigger some questions. So you will see here, there's a program description to get a sense of the courses. I can click on that momentarily. If you're not sure, and this is always a common question, tuition and fees. Okay, admission requirements, which I'll come to. The program outcomes. Just change that there. There, and I gave you in terms of contact us here on the right, I gave you my email anytime. And ask questions anytime. So I'm going to click on courses. You'll see here. So I'm going to click on this and go. Let's drill down and give you a good sense of the courses, the topics we'll be covering in this. So you'll see it structured as a, let me make sure you can see this page. Yes, you can. Okay, so you'll notice it's structured into semester 1 and semester 2 for starters. And you'll see it'll change colors here. Use some George Brown blue. Some courses are 14 weeks long for that semester. Some courses are 7 weeks long, but I will highlight here. I teach these courses a lot. So this is class 2 3-hour classes per week. And it's scrunched together. My experience, I've taught that in that program, specifically the 415 and the 419, for about 4 years. I'm part-time. And I find the students really like the focus of 2 3-hour classes a week and get that course done in 7 weeks as opposed to 14. So you can see some of the organizational behavior. Agile is a certain type of approach to do projects in. And scope, learning about how to define scope in a project. In effect, scope primarily are what are the requirements in the project. So if we have a project where you hire me to build a house for you, I'm not just going to build the house. I'm going to say, well, what would you like, or what do you need? And you might say, I want 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I want a playroom for the kids. I want a games room in the basement, and so on. Well, you're giving me the requirements. And what that turns out to, probably in a document most of you might have seen, that turns out in the form of what we call specifications, and in kind of construction term parlance, architectural diagrams. So that's what we learn. We learn a lot about requirements, the work breakdown structure, things like that. That's something some of you, I suspect, have experience with. So I'm talking about the scope and quality management course right now, right here. That's what I'm referring to. And of course, quality. How do we build a product? Quality in this that meets the specifications. Little overview there. Risk management, everybody. So a common way to think of risk is what could go wrong in a project. And you might say, well, Mark, the schedule gets, delayed. And I'm going to say that's too broad. What specifically might cause the schedule to be delayed? And you go, got it, Mark. It might be that we have to, the coding of the module takes 2 weeks longer than we forecasted, or something like that. And schedule and cost management. And this is a good time for you to mention, all of these courses are very practical and applied. So what does that mean? There is theory, absolutely. But the thought is we learn the theory and then we apply the theory. We apply the theory in various ways, such as case studies, kind of very involved assignments that don't have the case study format, in case you're wondering what's the difference. And we have capstone projects, which are very comprehensive projects done at the end of a course. So you really get to apply to real life situation and so on. And again, now you'll see semester 2. I'm going to scroll up so you can see everything in semester 2. Oh, there's that set. Okay. Semester 2, that's right. These are longer. And there are case studies above, absolutely. But then we have one course on a case study. Case studies are used in other courses as well. And then there's one course, primarily a case study. Of course, any good project manager has to understand what their business objectives are, and work their project in alignment with what those business objectives are. So that's getting business acumen. And you also learn how projects are aligned to strategic objectives. So you could have a strategic objective, by, we could say June 2028. So it's very to decrease costs, by 20%, which would be quite a big reduction over the next 3 years. So to give you a sense, and so then what we learn from that is from there, how do we generate in the corporate world or the public sector as well? What I'm saying applies to both projects in the public sector, aka government, as it does in the private sector, right? And then we learn how to select projects, and then we learn how to plan and execute projects. Just to give you a big kind of picture view there. So the business course is really cool. It's a favorite of mine. And back to the very applied to real world situations. That's what the simulation is. I'm going to scroll up. So that's an overview of the 2 semesters. Okay. And tuition and fees, if you don't know, I suspect you'd be quite interested in. And let me make this a little bigger so you can see it better. There we go. And you'll see this here. Okay, very important. Financial aid. Maybe I'll circle that with a green for money. And I can send you the link, but in case you're looking for Ontario School Assistance Program funding, OSAP, you know, what are the eligibility criteria? You can read about it here. And again, short of asking any questions, and please, I invite you to ask questions. I'm going through what I think might be important to you, but I'd love to hear back from you what you want to hear about. Admission requirements. This should be generally straightforward if you're here in Canada. This one is for domestic students, as we say. Have to have an Ontario university or a college degree or a college diploma, advanced diploma or equivalent. So what this means, something I've done in the past is, and we're very happy to do, and George Brown is really, really good for this, is, you know, someone may have high school. So a candidate, for example, may have high school diploma, which is fantastic, right? And but nothing in college or university. That's typically fine. And I'll tell you why. Is I or someone at George Brown College will look at resume, and almost actually with me, it's been without exception. And in other words, what I'm saying here, work experience is a great prerequisite. This is what I'm saying, prerequisite, so I can't spell it all. Prerequisite to getting into George Brown College. Into George Brown College. So maybe just read that for a sec. Admission requirements. So even if you don't have a college diploma, don't worry about it. If you have work experience, we see your resume. And again, I have yet to refuse anyone. I've always accepted every resume I've seen with the request to be accepted into the project management program. Just for clarity, I can't speak for the other programs. So, but we are here for the project management program. And that's something we're very happy to do, is see your resume and accept you. Okay, I'll just pause for a minute if you want to read anything or ask questions. Okay, maybe I'll point us over to the left-hand side now of this web page. And so in effect, there's the 2 semesters, right? So we saw about 5 minutes ago, there's 2 semesters, semester 1, semester 2. And indeed, this is well-timed. You're all here. So there's an intake, so you can start, and I hope we do see you very much. I hope I get to see you and meet you. Start in September 2025. That's coming right around the corner. It'll be here fast, won't it? But there you go. So your timing is really good there. Having said that, if you are busy this fall with personal or professional obligations, there is a section that starts up in January. So that might be a good timing for some of you to start as well. So if there's no questions, let me cover off a couple other things. Maybe that might be interesting and very helpful to most, if not all of you. So I have, if you're interested in me, if you're interested in getting more, oh yeah, hi Gabriella, question?
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you. My question is if there is a deadline to complete the registration program for September.
Okay, good question. I don't want to give you the right answer, so I'm never going to pretend to know. Let's just, my first comment before I type this out, you should always ideally in person, but if you can't, I'll show you the telephone number to call. It's called the virtual front desk. So ideally you would go in person to confirm with either what we say, the registrar or the School of Business. But failing that, I'll come back and show you the
Okay.
virtual front desk where you can ask questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, very welcome. But first, let's see if I can find, yeah, we want fall 2025. And having said that, they always accept people late as well. Having been a teacher there the last few years, we always have people coming, 2 weeks late. And so I think the overall message for me should be, if you were a few days late, a week late applying, do not worry about it. You will likely get accepted. Having said that, better risk management, better safe than sorry. I would suggest try and get online. And anyways, so registration start dates are posted. Well, that's okay. That's for the teachers and students on July 2nd. And there we go. Online registration begins 24th. There we go. The last day to register for the fall 2025 term, which is the next one coming up, is September 8th. But again, I emphasized if you're a few days
I'm
late.
sorry, Mark, but I think it's not showing the screen, the information. It's like only the
Oh, I'm
link.
sorry. I am so sorry. Thank
Okay.
you for telling me. Okay. So basically here. So registration dates. Online registration starts July 14th, right here. And the last day to register for fall 2025 term is September 8th. And that's where I was saying, and thank you for letting me know. I thought I was showing the right screen, but I clearly was not. Again, shoot for September 8th. Do your darndest to make sure you're September 8th. But if we do have people come in late, a couple weeks later as well. So George Brown is very flexible and welcoming that way. Great question.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Well, thank you for asking. Yeah, Gabriella and Shiva. Hi there.
Hi, Mark. I wanted to know, I registered and I got accepted for online project management. I thought it would be like much more convenient from home, but would you say that being in person is more favorable or I just wanted to ask your opinion, coming in person?
Yeah, so I don't like to lean one way or another because in the end, I think you should make the decision. But absolutely, I can give you, I think, some good insight into the criteria to make your decision. And so, in other words, some things you want to think about: do I do online or do I want to go in person? Well, you said it. Online is very convenient. Maybe you live far from, and travel time and money is a lot. I also know a lot of students work part-time. Some students have families, kids, parents they're taking care of. So online for a lot of those reasons makes sense. Now, having said that, I'll just contrast that with my views of the in-person experience. And I certainly welcome you to talk to students and teachers alike and get their answer as well. Generally, there's a lot more energy, which stimulates the mind and learning. I find people learn more. They learn more efficiently in person. One of that is it's a more, I believe it's a more natural environment in person for a teacher maybe talking about a concept or giving an example. And it kind of triggers in a student's brain. It's easy to put up your hand and say, but Mark, I didn't understand this. Oh, got it. And I find that dynamic, which is the best, great for the students, plays out more in person. Whereas I find as a general rule of thumb, I'm speaking generally, online, people kind of sit back and don't engage as much. So did that offer a little food for thought anyway?
Oh, yeah. Yes. And if I registered online, can I always change my mind for in person or
I've
no?
seen it once and I don't think it's a problem. You just have to, go through the bureaucratic process of doing it. But no, it's not a problem at all.
Okay.
In the end, George Brown wants to do what's right for each and every student. And that can vary across students. And George Brown, and I used the word a few minutes ago, is very flexible in every way to, provide a real support to the students.
Okay.
So yeah.
And
you can always ask me for help too, Shiva.
Okay, yes. You said that there's 2 courses each semester, or are there a lot more? But
These
with
are structured. Yeah, let me go over to that. I'm going to share the screen back.
like how many
And
hours a week are their classes?
let me give you the guesstimate. It'll be close, but I'd rather you confirm. Again, I don't like giving wrong answers, but I can pretty well tell you what it is. Generally, classes are, let's see, for generally, as a general rule of thumb, classes are 3 hours. So 3, 6, oh, this is 4 hours. So some of these, this one's a 4-hour course. I know. So generally we have 3, 6, 10, 13. This one's 4 hours. So 17, because I teach them both. That's 320. Now I'm guessing at that. So basically you're looking at 3, 6, 29. So you're looking at approximately 30 hours per week.
30 hours a week.
Yeah, and I don't know these the second semester courses here, but they might have a couple 4 hours. So I would say it's anywhere from 30, probably 33, maybe 34 hours a week of classes.
Okay.
And I'm very close there. Again, I always suggest talk to the registrar and make sure I'm in, well, I am in the ballpark. I'm just not sure of the exact number.
Right. And sorry, one more question is that some of these are repeated. Like, let's say if one day somebody can make it like morning, they're repeated in the afternoon or no?
Okay, great question. Historically, that was the case generally. But this fall, due to there's a reduction in employment a reduction in students in all the colleges, not just, and although George Brown's doing fantastic that way, it's in this program, the project management, you're safe to assume for the fall starting September that there's only one course and therefore only one class scheduled as opposed to multiple classes. That's the safe assumption, but again, you'll always hear me qualify it. To be sure, check with the registrar because they have a more up-to-date view on the enrollment than I do. Well, I don't know about the enrollment. So that's why I say. But generally this fall, there will kind of lean towards, I think, one class. Whenever that's scheduled, you'll need to be there.
Okay. And are you teaching it hybrid? So for us online and people in class, you're doing it all together or?
Well, in terms of, okay, so the courses I teach and I know are not hybrid. So just to give you a sense of, I do these 3. These are all now in person. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning that, the other courses, I don't know. And again, I don't want to give you the wrong answer. It may be a professor does hybrid, but I do know that there's a big directive at George Brown College, as well as the other colleges, to have most of the classes in person. I'll say that again. There's kind of a large push generally, not just at George Brown, but in all the colleges, to have the classes in person. And again, that plays back to the value proposition I spoke to about 10 minutes ago, where students enjoy the in-class experience more, and it is more efficient learning.
Thank you for clarification.
Yeah, no, great questions. Okay.
Hi, Mark. I have a question, please.
Yeah.
I'm raising my hand, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, since it will be only one class, is it planned to be in the mornings or evenings?
Okay. So, a couple comments. Number one, I don't know if, again, check to see with the registrar if they're in person and if there'll be one class. And more to your question, the registrar or someone in the School of Business, I think, can tell you what the schedule is for this fall. And they're probably putting it together now. And I'm guessing you need to check with the registrar, but hopefully they'll have the schedules pretty firmed up by very early July. And so what I'm saying is, Ahmad, great question. I understand why you're asking that question. Students have to manage, as I said, parents, part-time jobs, and so on. The registrar will be able to tell you when each of the courses are scheduled specifically, in the morning, afternoon, and what time. They'll even have the times available. And again, that should be early July, Ahmad, okay?
Okay.
Okay, there's other hands
Thanks,
now.
Mark.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Hi, Mark.
Yes.
All right. My question is, are we going to get a list of textbooks before classes start?
Okay, again, at George Brown, there's been a large push to have what we say OER. And so when we say, so I'll explain that. Hardcover texts are disappearing. And many courses use some combination of learning materials. And generally it's the same, but there are variations. So OER, to your question directly, that's an online electronic, and what it should say, but anyways, textbook. Okay. So, and the key word here is, I'm going to do it in red, or no, I should do it in green because we're saving money. So the OER is free. Okay. Because I get this question a lot. So that's, you see what I'm saying? Hardcover texts are disappearing. And George Brown's doing a great job moving where you have an online textbook, which is free, but there's other online, other online resources as well. So for example, slides, documents that but when I say documents, I mean like a case study or a real kind of examination of a situation specific to the topic in project management and so on. So again, textbooks have disappeared or almost disappeared.
Okay, thank you. Just one more question before I go.
Yeah.
Which of the tools will be the main tool for instruction? I mean, which of the softwares? Is it going to be Zoom, Teams, Google Meets?
Do you know what? I should know the answer. I'm pretty sure we're moving to Teams in September and they're getting rid of Zoom as a cost-cutting measure.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Good question. Thank you very much. Please, I've covered anything. Is there any other questions I can answer? Okay, I'll give you my email once more, everyone, in case you missed it. You're always welcome to email me and ask questions. georgebrown.ca. So there's my email here in the upper right of your screen. And if there's no questions, I wish you a wonderful summer evening with your family and friends. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yep.